Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Oh, yeah, motherfuckers. Oh, yeah, I'm back. This is your main man, Mr. K. You Dig It, Backwoods Mayor. And I'm back with a couple hot ticks of these motherfucking politics. Hit that motherfucking subscribe button, nigga. Oh, look, America. J.D. Vance again. The Turning Point USA speech in the crowd was bullshit. Only 200 motherfucking people. Nobody want to hear that shit. Here, Billy, put the handcuffs on him. Look.
It doesn't bother me when he speaks on issues of the day. Frankly, even when I disagree with how he's applying particular principles. So the most obvious example is
how embarrassing. Vice President J.D. Vance just got humiliated at a Turning Point USA event. As you can see right there, very few people showed up to see J.D. Vance speak. They rented out a stadium and maybe it was 1/8 full. And then J.D. Vance was getting relentlessly heckled. He was being called out for his genocide. He was being called out for his use of religion to justify war crimes. Let me show you one part of this where Vance was heckled. Let's play this clip.
Was our administration the administration that solved the problem, but the president, excuse me, sir, right now, you see more humanitarian aid coming into Gaza than it has any time in the past 5 years, because we have taken that situation.
So also Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk, was supposed to be on stage with J.D. Vance during this event. But then right before the event took place, Erica Kirk posted that there were security threats directed at her, and that's why she was not showing up at this empty venue. Erica Kirk posted, "I was so looking forward to tonight's event with our Vice President J.D. Vance, but after all our family has been through, I take my security team's recommendation extremely serious. Thank you to our amazing Georgia chapter for your support. God bless you all." And here was the moment it was announced that Erica Kirk would be skipping this event, is how they described it. What an odd event. Here, play this clip.
Mr. Vice President, I'm on stage here instead of our friend Erica Kirk.
That's right.
Because unfortunately, she has received some very serious threats in her direction, which is terrible. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country.
And then Candace Owens, who's been obviously very critical of Erica Kirk, said the following: "Stop. This is exhausting. You pulled out because of the bad ticket sales. For the same reason, TP Faith had to reschedule the Pastor's Summit and various other events quietly. People don't believe you and don't line up for you because you struggle to tell the truth about even the most basic facts. Where is the video of Charlie appointing you as CEO weeks before his death? The Secret Service sits above your security team. Were there actually a viable threat, the vice president would not have continued the event. Your closest threat is the shit public relations team you hired that continues to operate under the delusion that they are smarter than the public. They aren't."
Oh, look, America. Donald Trump in day 3 of criticizing the motherfucking Pope. I think, America, Donald Trump is the Antichrist. In the flesh. Bullshit you not. Him and his whole motherfucking demon flocks, which I call a MAGA in his administration because they taking up for the shit. Now, these are the words he spoke last night after 12 o'clock at night, and he's 79 years old. The son of a bitch need to go ahead and croak. I swear to God, I wish that bitch go ahead and croak. These are the words he told the holy man, the Pope. He doesn't understand that he shouldn't be talking about war because he has no idea what's happening. Yeah, that man know what's happening. That's a godly man. Turn your punk ass around. Take that pamp off his motherfucking ass. Put the handcuffs on Donald Trump. Lock his motherfucking ass up. And you turn J.D. Vance ass around too. Put the handcuffs on that fucking cocksucker, cross-dressing hillbilly. Lock his motherfucking ass up too. Whole motherfucking administration.
And Donald Trump has launched a fresh attack on Pope Leo, claiming the pontiff has no idea when it comes to the war and Iran's nuclear threat. In comments to an Italian newspaper, the US president says he doesn't understand and shouldn't be talking about war because he has no idea what's going on. He doesn't understand that 42,000 protesters were killed in Iran last month.
Oh, look, America. Do this sound like a motherfucking sane president? Donald Trump just tweeted out that soda is good for him because it kills grass. And if it kills grass, it's good for him. The bitch is psycho. Lock his...
Bobby and I usually go to the meetings together. So he'll first start off with, candy bars, that little candy jar, he'll call it. He'll hit the red button. Yeah. And then comes the diet soda pops, which is, your dad argues that diet soda is good for him because it kills grass. It's poured on grass, so therefore it must kill cancer cells inside the body. So he'll try, please. I'm not even going to argue this right now. We were on Air Force One the other day, and I walk in there because he wants to talk about something, and he's got an orange soft drink on his desk.
Fanta. He drinks Fanta.
That's what I didn't want to say the brand name on the podcast. He's got Fanta on the desk, and I say, "Are you kidding me?" So he starts to like sheepishly grin. He goes, "This stuff's good for me. It kills cancer cells." And then he tells me it's fresh squeezed. So how bad could it be for you?
Okay, but then maybe he's onto something, because I will say this. I know a lot of guys pushing 80.
Oh, look, America. Well. Pam Bundy, the skank from Florida, has decided not to show up to court for the subpoena. Now, y'all know what that do, huh? This bitch don't have no immunity. So when Don S. Crook, and when all this shit is over with, y'all know what's gonna happen to this bitch, right? Y'all know what we gonna do to this bitch, right? This bitch that committed all these crimes while she was up there. And bitch, you think it's over with. I tell you what we can do with her. Put the handcuffs on her. Kick in her ass. Lock her motherfucking ass up. Her, Donald Trump, and the rest of them nasty bastards in there. J.D. Vance, you the next motherfucking line, you cross-dripping hypocrite. Lock his motherfucking ass up too. Fuck them all. Fuck them all.
Now, folks, this is a concerted effort by MAGA and MAGA Republicans on the House Oversight Committee. For example, Byron Donalds said the following. He's on the Oversight Committee. He's running for governor of Florida as a MAGA Republican. Play this clip.
I want to move to some domestic issues now. Major headline this week. The First Lady, Melania Trump, put Jeffrey Epstein back in the headlines when she made a surprise announcement denying ties to the convicted sex offender. You're a member of the House Oversight Committee, which was scheduled to hear from former Attorney General Pam Bondi this coming Tuesday about her handling of the Epstein files. The Justice Department says Bondi's ouster excuses her from having to appear. Do you think Pam Bondi should testify this week?
Look, I don't actually at this point, I don't really think so. Now that she's a former Attorney General of the United States.
Well, Hillary Clinton, Hillary Clinton wasn't in office and she testified.
Well, let me be very clear. We're going to be continuing with our investigations into this matter. The Oversight Committee has been steadfastly working on this, also with survivors who chose to come forward to bring more information. I think if a former AG Bondi comes in, that'll be a determination of the committee as a whole. Let me also say that the now former Attorney General, she did come into the committee in a session to have open conversation and dialogue with Republican and Democrat members. Republican members came, hold on, let me explain this is important. Republican members came to that committee hearing asking the former Attorney General Bondi, important questions. The Democrats refused to ask her any questions because they wanted the cameras on, because they wanted to turn it into a political circus. And I was in that room and disgusted, quite frankly, because you had members on the Democrat side of the aisle who had ample ability to question former AG Bondi, and they refused because the cameras weren't on.
Congressman, we're almost...
Let's not forget, during his opening press conference as acting Attorney General, here's what Todd Blanche had to say.
Now former Attorney General Bondi was facing a subpoena from the House Oversight Committee. Do you expect that she will comply with that, or will this administration, will the Justice Department invoke some sort of privilege to block her from testifying?
So as everybody knows, the Attorney General and I went to the House Oversight a few weeks ago. We answered every single question asked for a couple hours. What happens now that She's the former attorney general, and there's the subpoena out there. Is I think I'll leave to Chairman Comer and others to figure out. I don't have an answer to that.
You won't be invoking a privilege or anything.
Excuse me?
You won't invoke any kind of privilege to block.
No, I definitely did not say that. I said I will leave it to Chairman Comer to work out with others. I just don't have an answer for you. But I'm not committing to anything. I'm just saying I don't know. Go ahead.
More from Todd Blanche here as well.
In the coming days.
Lost her job though because she was not successful in that pursuit.
You read the same exact communication from the president that I did. Pam Bondi is a trusted friend of President Trump's, will remain so. And no, nobody has any idea why the Attorney General is no longer the Attorney General and I'm the acting Attorney General, except for President Trump.
And here's what Ro Khanna had to say about Pam Bondi. Let's play it.
The top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee says he still wants to hear from Pam Bondi with her deposition scheduled for April 14th. Do you think Pam Bondi still needs to come and testify, even though she is now a private citizen, Congressman?
Yes. I mean, if we could chase Hillary Clinton, who hasn't been in office for 20 years, certainly we can get Pam Bondi to explain why she covered up documents, why we haven't had prosecutions. But Kristen, the most important thing is there need to be two tests for this next Attorney General. First, the Senate needs to fight to make sure that they commit to releasing all Epstein files with no redactions other than survivors. And second, they need to begin investigations and prosecutions. There are people like Les Wexner and Leon Black who have allegedly have such horrific abuse and there has not been any investigation.
Let's also reflect on the fact that when Pam Bondi a few weeks back, about a month and a half ago or so, decided that she was going to show up before the House Oversight Committee voluntarily, not under oath, and just spew Trump talking points, and Democrats objected to it because they said, you're under subpoena. Don't try to use this as a pretext to blow up your subpoena because we know you're terrified to testify under oath, Pam Bondi. And she's like, I will follow the law. I will follow the law. Here, play this clip.
Sure.
Earlier this month, a bipartisan group of lawmakers on the House Oversight Committee voted to subpoena you to appear for a closed-door deposition. Will you commit to complying with that subpoena and appearing for a closed-door deposition?
I made it crystal clear I will follow the law.
Oh, look, America. Donald Trump's brain is melting away every motherfucking day. This son of a bitch done told reporters that Diet Coke is good for him because it kills grass and it kills cancer cells. The bitch is stupid. Lock his motherfucking...
Your dad argues that diet soda is good for him because it kills grass. It's poured on grass, so therefore it must kill cancer cells inside the body. So he'll try, please. I'm not even going to argue this right now. We were on Air Force One the other day, and I walk in there because he wants to talk about something, and he's got an orange soft drink on his desk.
Fanta. He drinks Fanta.
That's what I didn't want to say the brand name on the podcast. He's got Fanta on the desk, and I say, "Are you kidding me?" So he starts to like sheepishly grin. He goes, "This stuff's good for me. It kills cancer cells." And then he tells me it's fresh squeezed. So how bad could it be for you?
Oh, look, America. Pam Bondi, you ducked them people yesterday, huh? You didn't show up for that fucking deposition that the Democrat had your ass on, huh? But guess what? You know them people ain't letting you get away with that, huh? Your ass in trouble.
Donald Trump's former Attorney General Pam Bondi was a no-show to her deposition today before the House Oversight Committee. Despite being lawfully subpoenaed by the House Oversight Committee, she refused to show up. She unilaterally canceled her deposition as her cover-up and the Trump regime's cover-up of the Epstein files continues. Now, just because former Attorney General Pam Bondi is no longer the Attorney General and the acting Attorney General is Todd Blanche, that doesn't stop a lawfully issued subpoena in her name. But this is precisely what Pam Bondi and the Trump regime is claiming. And so she just thinks she's above the law and doesn't show up to depositions when she receives subpoenas. Hillary Clinton showed up. Bill Clinton showed up. They sat there. But Pam Bondi, who's at the heart of this cover-up, who arguably is one of the lead figures in this criminal cartel, she's refused to show up. Now, Democratic Congress member Robert Garcia, who serves as the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, put out the following statement. Pam Bondi is evading a lawful congressional subpoena by failing to appear before the House Oversight Committee for a deposition about the Epstein files and the White House cover-up. This subpoena applies to her regardless of her title. She must appear before the committee, and if she continues to ignore the law, Oversight Democrats will move forward with contempt proceedings immediately. We will fight until there is true accountability and justice. The House Oversight Dems, through their official account, put out the following statement as well. Pam Bondi is evading a lawful congressional subpoena by failing to appear before our committee. They again say they will be holding her in contempt if she doesn't show up. Congresswoman Stansberry, Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, also says Pam Bondi was subpoenaed to appear before the Oversight Committee today. This was not a, quote, pretty please. This was a legally binding congressional subpoena. If she does not make arrangements to appear immediately, we will move to hold her in contempt. Now, what are Republicans saying on the House Oversight Committee? Well, of course, they are complicit in this disgusting cover-up. They have worked to help her cancel her deposition. This is supposed to be oversight, and I don't care what political party you're from. Oversight means oversight, not cover up. But that's what this Trump regime is doing with James Comer. So here's what the Republicans are saying. Ranking member Garcia is a hypocrite. The Clintons defied lawful subpoenas for 7 months, and he said nothing. He even voted against holding them in contempt. Now he's outraged over a rescheduling for a former AG. Garcia's outrage is purely performative. Excuse me? The Clintons showed up for their deposition, and the last time I checked, they've been out of public service for, at least Hillary Clinton, about 10 years, and Bill Clinton maybe twice, 3 times as long as that, versus the former attorney general who was just recently fired, who was intimately involved in the Epstein cover-up. I don't know, I see a little distinction there.
Oh, look, America, our president is stupid. This man that went on Fox and Friends News and did an interview last night. I just ran through the motherfucking clips that my producers already done sent me, bro. This man said on Fox News at an interview last night, which a bitch gonna be airing some kind of way. You gonna see that bitch too. This man said he solved 8 wars, which he didn't solve no wars. He said no one ever solved the war. Look at this shit. No one ever solved the war but him. In life. That's what he said. Prices are low. Gas is low. The economy is doing great. We in the golden age. The summer bitch is sick. We need to put the handcuffs on this summer bitch. Kick him in his motherfucking ass. Kick him another time in his motherfucking ass. Lock his motherfucking ass up. And everybody in his motherfucking administration that's letting this motherfucking big stupid ass.
Just left with Mike Johnson and some great people, some great congressmen and women, and in the Oval Office. I think we're going to do good. Now, with that being said, when somebody gets elected president, that party always loses the midterms. I don't know why. I don't know why. Nobody could explain it. I asked people that are deep into the psychological world, I said, why is it that a voter votes for the opposite party? Even when you have a good president, I think I had the greatest year, the greatest opening year I've read. The greatest, look, I ended 8 wars. A 9th is coming. But I ended 8 wars. Nobody's ever ended 1 war. Who's ended 1? Nobody. I ended 8. We have the biggest tax cuts ever. We have the biggest regulation cuts ever. The greatest economy ever, pretty much including the fact that I took a detour into Iran in order to stop something that could have destroyed the world, right? But even when you have a great president, they tend to lose the midterms. It doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, look, America. 7 articles of impeachment has been filed against motherfucking Cocaine Pete Hegseth. Cocaine Pete Hegseth, you son of a bitch. I told you I was going to get you. Didn't I tell you I was coming back? Put the handcuffs on him. Lock his motherfucking ass.
Also, some breaking news. Articles of impeachment introduced in Congress against none other than Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The allegations: abuse of power, politicization of the armed forces, and obstruction of congressional oversight. So let's talk about it. CBS News congressional reporter Torian Small. Torian, let's get right to these articles of impeachment, the who, what, where, when, and why. Who's behind this and what's the why?
Yeah, Representative Yasmin Ansari from Arizona. She's putting forth this after telegraphing it earlier in the week that this is the direction that she's going. In these articles of impeachment, there are about 6 articles here. It's for unauthorized war use against Iran and reckless endangerment of United States service members, violations of the law of armed conflict and targeting civilians, negligence and reckless handling of sensitive military information, obstruction of Congress and oversight, abuse of power, politicization of the armed forces, and conduct bringing disrepute upon the United States and its armed services. I do want to point out, though, that the likelihood that this goes anywhere is pretty low, especially considering this is a member of the minority party who it's unclear if she got backing or the support from Democratic leadership before moving forward with this. On top of that, the threshold for articles or impeaching a cabinet member is pretty high, considering it would have to go through the Senate, even if all Democrats were to support this measure and a handful of Republicans needed to pass it through a simple majority of the House for it to actually stick. But I also got to point out the parallel here between what we saw in the last administration when Republicans looked to impeach DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. While it did just narrowly pass out of the House, he was impeached after unsuccessfully being impeached their first effort. It ultimately was dismissed by the Senate, even though the majority in the Senate were Republicans at that time.
Shithead, guess what? You just got impeached. Can you dig it?
Oh, look, America. Donald Trump's stupid ass done it again. He now already got us in a war with the Ayatollah motherfuckers in a row. Now he done ran his punk ass off. Now he done got us in another war with Cuba. Put the handcuffs on him. Lock.
Donald Trump warns he might deal with Cuba after his operation in Iran. The US president has made repeated claims of potential action against Cuba following the kidnapping of Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. Cuba's president says his people would defend themselves against any US attack.
Well, we're going to see with Cuba. Cuba's another story. Cuba's been a terribly run country for a long time. It's got a bad system. It's been very oppressive, as you know. Terrible things happen in Cuba. And Cuba's a failing nation. And we're going to do this, and we may stop by Cuba after we're finished with this.